Hi. The purpose of this video is to try and give you, in very, very simple terms, an introduction to the problem and the solution about what's going on around you these days in this world, and try to make sense of it and actually hopefully encourage you to want to get more information, because there's all kinds of it on the internet to educate you as to the technicalities of the problem, if you will. But we found that for the most part there isn't really much on the internet that would hook you, that would explain to you in very, very simple terms that something is going on, first of all, and what it is and what may be the solution to it. And as I say, our purpose is to keep it very, very, very simple. This is not a video about me, but I will introduce myself anyway. I'm a human being named or called man. My name is called Wally. And according to hearsay evidence that I've received from my parents, I was born into the family or lineage of Dove. You will see, I trust, as we proceed here, why I introduce myself in that manner. I am a retired professional accountant who has been in public practice, offering my services to the public for most of my career. I did spend 13 years auditing and such with Revenue Canada, the current version of which is the Canada Revenue Agency and its provincial counterpart. I have audited small to some of the largest corporations in the country, including, by the way, 2 banks. Additionally, I was, according to my parents, born in Newfoundland, and I must admit that my heart, I should say, is still there, so to speak, and I have followed with great interest the plight of the fishermen and women of Newfoundland over the years, particularly since the introduction of the fishing moratorium some 20 years ago in 1992. That's it about me. Now, have you had the feeling that something is wrong? It's just not right. Some of you may have thought, why is it so many people seem to have authority over me and want to tell me what to do and how to live my life? Why are there so many rules that I have to live by? And they are ever, ever increasing. Have you ever asked yourself, where did these people get that authority? Why do they have the right, or where did they get the right to tell me what to do, if you will, or set all these various rules for me to live by? And they do that to all of us, of course. Well, I'm here to tell you that you gave it to them. You did. And you can take it back. You can take that authority back, and all you have to do is decide to do it. You see, those in authority over us are there because we allow them to be. We give them the authority, and we don't do it knowingly, though. We don't, just, they don't come along and say, do you mind if I have authority over you? Will you listen to me if I tell you what to do? And we say, yeah, go ahead. It doesn't happen quite that way. It happens in a manner that is sort of hidden from us. We have no clue that we are consenting to their authority in practically everything we do every day of our lives. You see, I introduced myself as a man or a human being, and I didn't introduce myself as a name. I didn't say I am Wally Dove, because I'm not a name. I'm a man. I'm a human being. And when I say I'm a name, unbeknownst to all of us, or unbeknownst to me as used to be the situation with me, I was telling them, if you will, all the authority figures, that I consented to be a name. Not only that, I consented to be the legal name, the name that they created under or by law, or under law, if you will, known as the Vital Statistics Act. They gathered information about my birth, the government did, the vital statistics people, Registrar General, gathered information through the doctors, through the hospital, through my parents, and so on, concerning the event of my birth. They took that name, and they registered that name and called it a legal name. And by the very fact that it was created under law and registered and so on, makes it a legal name. And since the government did that, the government has authority over it and control over it. So when I say I'm Wally Dove, they say, ah, okay, you are the legal name over which I have authority. So they go about taking authority over me. And they do the same thing to all of us. Now this can get convoluted and so on, and of course I'm just trying to hook you here to hope to encourage you, I should say, to do more studying and learn why this is all happening and how it's all happening. The other thing that's going on is that I'm recognized as a person, or more specifically, a legal person before the law. And as it turns out, I have a right to be so recognized, and if I have a right to waive it. But we'll get into that a little more in a moment. But for now, a person is defined in law, in Canadian law, as being of two classes. One is a legal person, and the only legal person known to man, to our law, I should say, is a corporation. And the other class of person is a natural person, which includes a human being. Now, in law, they recognize me as a human being through the categorization, I should say, of me as a classification as a natural person. But when I say that I'm a person, or they suggest that I'm a person, what they're saying really in law is that I'm a legal person, the person that they created, the person over whom they have control and authority. So, you know, this kind of makes sense when you think about it, because if you go back to the beginning, just go back to the beginning, and the most ancient writings we have, I should say, are compiled in a book called the Holy Bible. Whatever the Bible means to you is of no consequence at this point. It is simply, for me, I'm telling you right now, it is the most ancient writings on earth. And that Bible tells us that God created us. He created us from the dust of the earth. Well, that's referring to the body. And then it goes on to tell us that God breathed life into this body, which is the spirit, and that this body and that spirit became a living soul. So that's what I am, as a living soul. That's what we all are. We're not a name, and we're not a person. We, men and women. That's what God named us. And as men and women, the Bible says at Genesis 1:26 that God created all things. He created the earth, He created the animals and the fish and the grass, everything. And then He created man. And He gave man dominion over the earth and all of the fishes and all of the animals, and so on and so forth. So in essence, what He did was give us authority over the earth and all things of it. So when we go around allowing other people or other men or other institutions to have control or authority over us, we are, in essence, giving up our dominion. We are slapping our Creator right in the face and saying, no thanks, I don't want to have control of all of this. And I don't want to even have control over this body that you created for me. I rather give it up to somebody else. Now, it actually is incumbent upon us to not abdicate our responsibility and our duty to our Creator by giving up our authority to anyone else. We are all created equal in dignity and rights, with equal dominion over the earth and all things of it. This makes perfect sense to everyone, and I'm sure to you as well. So if we have dominion, there is no higher authority on this planet than us. So how, then, did it all happen that we have somehow surrendered our authority to others? Because believe me, they didn't take it. Because that would be illegal. And it would be wrong, morally and otherwise. So they didn't do it that way. They created law. They created a system of law, and they call it law and order, and we have to obey the law, and we must, well, whatever. Why do I have to obey the rules that somebody else sets up for me? Point is, by doing so, that's how I'm giving them my authority. I'm allowing them to take authority over me by consenting to all of this crap. All we've got to do is say no. I'm a human being. I'm a man or I'm a woman. And I am the highest authority. God, in this book, the most ancient writings on earth, gave me dominion over everything. But He didn't give me a dominion over you. So I don't have authority over you, and you don't have authority over me. Now, that takes me to the point where we're going to talk about maybe how this happened. Okay? So let's do that for a moment. The law is how it was done. That's why Jesus says in the Bible, "Woe to you lawyers, for you have hidden the keys to knowledge," and so on and so forth. And you don't enter yourself, and you don't allow others to enter in. I'm paraphrasing. And the lawyers essentially did and are being used to set this whole system up, the system of law. Now, you might think that the government is the problem here, because that's who we deal with. That seems to be who is passing all of these laws and taking authority and administering those laws over us and so on. But if you assume that, I can tell you that, in my opinion, you're wrong. The government is not the problem. Behind the government is I guess an institution called the bankers, the international banking cartel. These bankers today own the world. And it's no coincidence that in the Bible it is recorded that Jesus got angry very few times, but one of the times He got angry and He made a whip, and He whipped the money changers, or the bankers, and He drove them from the temple, overturning their tables and everything. That's great anger. He did that because He recognized what was going on at that time, and that same thing is going on today. And they've become very, very smart about what they're doing. They're not using wars as much maybe as they used to, but believe me, every war has been created by these people in one way or another, and they have gained control of the money creation powers of this country and practically every country on earth, and they hold sway over the government because they are, the Bible says again, the borrower is servant to the lender. They are the lender to the government, to us, and to all the corporations in this country.